In a deeply introspective conversation, the guest reflects on stepping away from iconic roles like Iron Man, comparing it to athletes retiring at their peak. The cultural impact of such characters is profound, and leaving them behind is challenging.
It's difficult because I feel like we all just get buffeted by feelings, an ego or fears or little chips of resentments or intuitions that are tied to something.
Closure is marked by a final, intimate dinner with Marvel colleagues, appreciating relationships formed over the years.
I gotta go have dinner with a bunch of the Marvel folks last night. I have just a little bit of extra closure because, you know, the movie came out and it was bananas.
Well, that's got to be bittersweet. But I like that you want to move on, and I like that you're doing something like Dr. Dolittle.
Despite the challenges, the guest reflects on maintaining confidence and navigating self-assurance throughout a diverse career.
It baffles me. Confidence? What does it really mean? There's a period of time where I felt like I did the first Iron Man, and then I went and did Tropic Thunder, and then I was doing the first Sherlock.
The host draws a parallel with boxers who retire gracefully, contrasting them with the many who linger beyond their prime.
Boxers are a perfect example. They always last too long. There's only been a small handful, like Andre Ward recently. They just go, "That's it. I'm done."
The guest embraces new beginnings while acknowledging the magnetic pull of celebrated past roles.
Look, it's just, first of all, it's 2020 and I'm not an OCD guy, but I keep thinking, see clearly. See clearly even if your vision is going.
The conversation kicks off with reflections on the controversial movie Tropic Thunder and its potential reception in today's climate.
Do you think you could do Tropic Thunder today? Would that be possible?
Oh, you could do it. And again, like Eddie, I look back to me.
The guest compares it to their father's film Putney Swope, highlighting similar creativity driven by purpose.
That movie to me was a circle back to my dad's movie Putney Swope. It's about what happens when someone free-spirited confronts corruption.
Reflecting on the portrayal of a black character, the guest shares the varied feedback they received.
Where is your heart? And my heart is I get to be black for a summer in my mind. 90% of my black friends are like, dude, that was great.
The host humorously comments on changing cultural norms and sensitivities.
I think White Chicks came out pretty soon after. I don't think you could do blackface anymore. We almost lost the Prime Minister of Canada for brownface.
The guest acknowledges the film's purpose of critiquing self-involved artists and the broader sensitivities it highlighted.
It's an interesting meditation on where the pendulum is. There's a morality clause here, and having a moral psychology is job one.
The host echoes the sentiment, noting the film's comedic impact and potential backlash.
It's hilarious. I watched it again. Your portrayal wasn't egregious. It made sense.
Criticism directed at Ben Stiller allows the guest to reflect on public perception.
All the heat got deflected to Ben and Simple Jack. But you never know when it's your time in the barrel. My mother was horrified.
The conversation challenges the intricate process of acting, highlighting the balance between structured approaches and unexpected discoveries. They delve into iterative growth that mirrors the development seen in film series like Marvel.
I really like when you have a loose concept of what you're doing. Certain parts aren't going to change much, and the rest you discover, kind of like with Iron Man. We'd just write a line, back and forth.
The guest emphasizes how managing relationships in acting is akin to refining a script, acknowledging the complexities and unique dynamics each project introduces.
I like discovering things. How much of acting is managing those weird relationships that you have with these other people that you're acting with?
Every project is like a different fingerprint. Sometimes projects seem blessed, and sometimes they're cursed. But relationships, you can't overcome as a creative producer.
Discussions turn to the importance of building familiarity and chemistry among cast members, mirroring the Marvel movie's evolution with a well-curated cast.
Let's mind melt. Let's get together, work weekends, spend time together. You can't replace that familiarity. I adore Chris Evans. He's technically brilliant, but doesn't take himself seriously.
The conversation touches on how superhero films have matured, becoming respected genres with impactful storytelling.
I thought Civil War was a special moment in the arc of the Marvel films, turning one against the other and what it meant.
The relationships that people have with each other really shape a project. Do you meet up before committing to a role?
I love that you think I'd have the authority to audition them. But familiarity is key, and spending time together can't be replaced.
Ultimately, their insights reveal how small, iterative changes, much like in superhero films, lead to significant artistic growth, blending structure with the magic of spontaneity. The conversation opens with reflections on eyesight and accepting its natural decline. The guest shares his journey from ignoring his dwindling vision to embracing it as part of life's flow.
You want to chase it. At first, I was like, I'm fine. Then it's 1, 2 5s. Then it's 1 5s. I stopped because I have so many glasses. I want to pick the 5 or 7 things that I definitely want to hold on to.
I agree, but if there was a real thing where you could get your eyesight back, I would definitely be on that.
The host notes medical advancements, mentioning David Sinclair's work at Harvard on eye diseases. Despite these efforts, the guest remains cautious about potential issues.
I'm sure there's going to be other issues. I don't know if I can time that. We've got real stuff going on here.
The dialogue shifts to parallels between the guest's life and his Iron Man role, while he humorously recounts how his quirks seem to predict his role.
Life is funny. I was doing this before I ever got fitted for the RT. Art imitating oddball stuff I was doing anyway.
He reflects on his upbringing, influenced by his father's filmmaking, shaping his artistic identity, and touching on Iron Man's deeper themes inspired by Stan Lee's vision.
East Coaster, dad of some renown. My dad was an underground filmmaker. I grew up definitely being Bob Downey's senior's kid. Stan was thinking about the military-industrial complex.
The conversation turns to revisiting past roles and the challenges it brings. The guest finds it daunting to step away and return over time.
You decide to pick up the mantle again. It's scary, isn't it? Like if they just said, hey, Joe, just don't do the show for 4 years and then come back. You'd be like, it's a lifetime.
The host mentions figures like Eddie Murphy who took long breaks from their craft, reflecting personal growth.
He stopped for 30 years. No one who's that good does that. He's a different human now.
The guest reflects on taking opportunities versus waiting for true alignment.
I've been thinking about him. Nowadays, giving yourself permission to not have to. Because, you know, strike the irons hot, all that stuff.
The conversation moves to political engagement, discussing global versus local focus with insights on staying centered.
People can lose themselves in current events. Your life is more than what's going on in Washington. Think globally, act locally.
The guest introduces stepping back from the madness for creative clarity.
He told me, watch TV for a year, bro. And I'm like, thanks, Joe.
Probably right. If you just did nothing but watch TV for a year, the ideas you'd have.
The guest concludes with thoughts on exploring new endeavors. Having done all with a character, wanting new challenges.
I feel I've done all I could with that character. There would have to be a super compelling argument. But the other thing is, I want to do other stuff.
The dialogue delves into the nature of confidence. The guest emphasizes the importance of clarity, drawing lessons from Warren Beatty.
There are times when confidence is just with you. It feels like the wind is at your back, and you're jumping over the waves effortlessly. But confidence changes, and you can't hold on to it too tightly because it's an illusion.
Yeah, the kind of confidence needed for your roles must be high, yet letting it go, as you say, makes sense.
Warren Beatty taught me a lot about understanding my action in a scene. During The Pickup Artist, he asked, what's my action? And I stumbled. He clarified it for me.
Beatty's insights equip the guest with tools to manage confidence, turning complex situations into clear. The discussion explores the transformative power of martial arts, likening its dynamic nature to life's ongoing evolution. The guest, who started their martial arts journey during recovery, views it as a testament to life's adaptability and resilience.
I didn't start training for anything specific. It aligned perfectly with my recovery. It wasn't going to be something passive like golf. It became a profound gift.
For the guest, martial arts provided a disciplined path, echoing life's challenges. Achieving a black belt symbolized the beginning of continuous learning and development.
Made black belt 5 years ago. Now, we're delving into weapons. It's a never-ending journey.
Congratulations, martial arts develop human potential. It's tough to master those movements in conflict scenarios.
The host highlights martial arts lessons and potential, humorously noting the challenges of mastery. The guest recalls how the UFC revealed limitations in traditional techniques.
Back in the 90s, UFC was just starting. It was clear that the tides could change quickly and techniques needed reevaluation.
A wake-up call for many. Some techniques weren't effective unless everyone played by dojo rules.
They emphasize adaptation, noting how the UFC challenged martial artists to reassess their methods, reflecting the broader theme of life's plasticity. In a fascinating dialogue, the host and guest explore the chaotic beginnings of mixed martial arts. These early competitions displayed a wild blend of styles and evolutionary chaos without weight classes.
The style matchups were laughable until you saw the violence. and no weight classes.
The conversation shifts to a shared passion for resto-mod cars, with the guest sharing an exhilarating experience with a modified 1970 Mustang.
I got the 302. It was Speedcore. A couple other ones. Speedcore does amazing stuff.
When I saw that they were doing your car, I thought, oh, this is going to be good. You picked a unique color too.
Driving this classic is likened to piloting a crop duster without wings, offering thrill and terror.
Every time I start, you go, Jesus Christ, I got kids.
Despite the love for vintage cars, the guest is embracing green technology, considering auctioning off their collection in favor of an electric BMW.
I'm probably going to wind up auctioning them all off, to be honest. Drove a little BMW electric car here.
I'll hold on to a few. Yeah, you have to hold on to that one.
The guest hints at future plans, suggesting a continuous evolution in personal passions and technologies.
You know what I wanted to get to? I need a...
The guest dives into the exhilarating chaos of filming Tropic Thunder, recalling the excitement mixed with anxiety on their first day. Preparation was key amidst choppers, squib fire, and intricate choreography.
I remember thinking, I am telling you, I have a bad feeling about this. It was intense, but then I just focused on my action. I had maybe 6 lines, but it was about running them 1,000 times. That way, the next day, I could enjoy the scene without worrying about what's next.
Despite the mayhem, knowing the script inside out enabled improvisation, contributing to the film's distinctive style.
How do you juggle memorizing lines versus improvising? Does thinking about the next line ever trip you up?
Honestly, I don't mind if others are stepping on my lines or want to change things. My focus is on being professional and true to the performance, regardless of the chaos around me.
They shift to discussing the script's satirical edge, praising its blend of humor and sharpness, which turns self-involved characters into unlikely heroes.
The script was really good. My wife read it and laughed, saying, "This is so wrong, and it's so true." It tackled how a bunch of self-involved idiots become heroes, and if done right, that would be its strength.
The guest's reflections highlight the fusion of preparation and spontaneity, embodying a commitment to professionalism amid filmmaking's unpredictability. The focus then shifts to the guest's portrayal of Iron Man, a superhero wrestling with personal demons, presenting both universal and intimate challenges.
And he gets shrapneled by the own thing, and it becomes, you know. And then, of course, there was the whole demon in the bottle. I think he was the first superhero who ever, had that, almost hang up his jersey because he was hammered.
His dedication is evident in securing the role, recognizing its lasting impact despite challenges.
But it was something that I definitely felt drawn to, and I definitely fought for. And looking back on it, I go, why was I fighting for that? Because it turned out to be pretty special.
The host commends the guest's diverse role choices, such as Dr. Dolittle.
Well, it was an amazing thing. I mean, you embodied it in a very strange way. It's inexorable at this point, which is why I thought it was cool that you're going to do Dr. Dolittle. It's a cool... I don't want to say you're not taking yourself seriously, but you're taking a risk.
The guest reflects on embracing new challenges in cinema, inspired by eclectic figures and personal connections.
I mean, don't we? I don't know. If I'm noticing anything now, it's that we need to shift and we need new challenges. Just like MMA and society and politics, things are moving and morphing.
He credits his creative partner for guiding him towards unexpected ventures, inspired by historic eccentrics like the quirky Welsh doctor, William Price.
Same way I did with Iron Man a little bit. I was Googling weirdest Welsh doctor. So there's this guy, William Price, who's a nutty Welsh doctor, a neo-druidist. I sent a picture of this wild-looking guy. I sent that to Gagan. He goes, "That looks right to me." I was like, great. Let's do this movie.
Superhero movies have evolved from their campy TV beginnings into sophisticated films driven by advanced visual effects, reflecting deeper cultural shifts and technological advancements.
For the longest time, superhero movies were clunky. Remember Batman with the silly pants? Everything was bang, boom. But then came Superman.
The host recalls the early limitations of superhero narratives, while the guest discusses how modern adaptations have redefined the genre.
I did a movie with Richard Linklater called A Scanner Darkly, and it was rotoscoped. That process is like a metaphor for what Marvel films became. Sometimes I'd think, why am I wearing this football suit? Just put some dots on my shoulders so I can move more freely.
The guest compares CGI in Marvel films to rotoscoping, sharing the creative and technical challenges faced on set. They emphasize how freedom in physical movement can impact performance.
Everyone shared the technical challenges. Mark Ruffalo, being Smart Hulk, reached the extreme of CGI. It's all about pushing boundaries.
I didn't get the whole Smart Hulk thing. How did he figure it out?
The host expresses confusion about CGI sequences, while the guest praises Marvel's creativity and risk-taking attitude.
The geniuses at Marvel, like the Russo brothers, love writing into corners. Imagine two Hulks meeting each other. But that's the fun, overcoming crazy narratives.
The guest explains Marvel's storytelling approach, highlighting collaboration that leads to richer characters.
For standalone films like Scarlett's Black Widow, there's more room for input. It's a different approach.
The conversation shifts to the synergy between creativity and life's timing, likened to an orchestrated symphony where diverse elements naturally align.
It's always it. You click and say, here's my sense. The other says, yeah, let's lean into that. And suddenly you're in a synergy. Like a good interview, a good fight, a good dinner.
I'm a big believer in things falling into place. Is that you getting out of your own way?
The guest emphasizes that such synergy is like a thin, invisible thread, something felt rather than seen, requiring gentleness and patience.
You have to pause when agitated. It's that super thin thread you can feel.
The host questions whether this is intuition or synchronicity, noting the challenges of defining it.
Labeling it is so filled with woo. It's a commodity you can't capitalize on, yet if you don't show its existence, you can't speak on it.
As their discussion shifts, the guest reflects on balancing career and personal growth. They ponder reprising their significant role, acknowledging timing's importance.
Is the door to Iron Man totally closed? Wouldn't picking up the jersey feel like, oh, crap?
If this is your idea, then show up for it. I'll show up. What do I have to do? I'll do it.
People would freak out if you came back. Take a few years off, do some other roles.
The guest stresses that skill transcends time and suggests timing aligns with one's life phase.
Our culture never encourages taking a break. If you're good, timing does.
The profound connection between creativity and discipline is explored through the lens of martial arts, particularly Wing Chun. The guest shares how this art form transcends conscious thought, allowing creativity to flourish beyond personal limitations.
Self-criticism is important as long as it doesn't become overwhelming.
True creativity blends personal involvement and detachment, much like athletes in a flow state.
Yeah, because it is you and it isn't you. Right? What does you even mean? You always hear it in sports.
The dialogue shifts to the intersection of creative energy and martial arts training, particularly lessons from a Sifu in building resilience.
Half the stuff I've done in my creative life are principles I learned on the mat with my Sifu.
Wing Chun provides not just combat skills, but a philosophy mirroring life's journey and creative challenges.
Traditional Wing Chun. Very underrated art form. So different than how I see it in videos.
Fighters talk about their training manifesting in a special moment where something just clicks.
In a critical artistic situation, I say, Wing Chun problems are life problems. Life problems are Wing Chun problems.
In a fascinating conversation, the guest and host explore the nuances of creative collaboration within the Marvel Universe. The guest dives into a concept known as meaningful consultation, illuminating how actors work with studios.
The legal phrase for actors and studios is meaningful consultation, not script approval, because then anybody could hold a studio hostage.
This approach prevents actors from dictating creative directions, yet allows them to provide important feedback. It's about creating a balance where small changes are feasible, but significant alterations could disrupt the overall vision.
Little things are easy to change. Big things become an inconvenience to the higher good.
I would imagine they want the actor to be comfortable with the character, but they have a vision they want you to morph slightly to follow.
Trust between actors and studios develops over time, fostering deeper collaboration. Reflecting on personal experiences, the guest describes a creative renaissance during Iron Man 3, influenced by personal life changes.
After my second round of kids, I had a bit of a renaissance when doing the third Iron Man.
This transformation underscores how personal transitions can inspire renewed artistic endeavors. The scale of producing a Marvel film is significant, often spanning 2 years from photography to promotion.
A big Avengers movie could involve some part of 18 months to 2 years. 4 to 6 months of principal photography and then post and promotion.
The journey began with the initially unsuccessful Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which eventually led to a pivotal entry into the Marvel Universe.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which bombed but was my calling card into the Marvel Universe.
The guest also emphasizes the importance of authenticity in conversations, highlighting how genuine exchanges build connections in this dreamlike world.
When someone's not full of nonsense, it's easy to get to know them. You say something, I say something back. It's an actual conversation.